them. A lot of people get scared to answer or ask questions rather because they think their question is dumb and they should know the answer. But the reality is if you're thinking this, right, a million other people are thinking the same thing. So ask your questions if you want to be heard. Hello, Martin. How are you, buddy? All right, let's go. G'day, guys. All right, so Nick says, when walking, is it just as important to get your heart rate up or is it more about moving your body? You see, that's a question which might sound very basic and people might go, oh, duh, like actually, it's not an obvious answer. The answer, Nick, depends on what you're actually trying to achieve. What are you trying to achieve with your walking? So for example, if you've been doing your, let's say, 8 to 10,000 steps consistently over a long period of time, and you want to challenge yourself a bit more because the 10,000 steps feels to you like it's just pretty damn easy, then one way to burn more calories, guess what, is to work harder. This is called progressive overload, okay? You do it in the gym as well. You do it in life. This is how you get better at stuff. So walking quicker or walking on an incline or walking with better form are all versions of increasing the difficulty, which is probably going to increase your heart rate. Now, if the question is, do I need to have a massively high heart rate for walking to be beneficial? No, definitely not. People don't like talking about walking because it's kind of like boring and stuff like that. And I get it, right? Totally get it. The walking's boring, right? It's not as if it's like crazy. Oh, just walk. You know why walking is good? Multiple reasons. You don't need to be good at it. Most people haven't lost the skill of walking. You do not need to put on a bunch of new clothes. It's free. You can do it anywhere. You can break it up. There's no entry level. To go into the gym, it's pretty hard. It's pretty intimidating. Anyone can go for a walk. So it is fantastic as a practical implementation tool, but the more important part about it is that it is excellent for calorie burning. People that are walking somewhere between 8 to 10,000 steps a day are going to burn about 300 to 500 calories. I use the number 50 calories per 1,000 steps, rough guess. For people who are heavier and who are just bigger, right, you're going to be more closer to the 50. For people that are lighter, you're going to be closer to the 30. So what does that mean? Well, if you do 10,000 steps, you're going to burn about 300 calories from your 10,000 steps. So is that a hell of a lot of calories? No, but it can be the difference between you needing to drop your dietary calories by 300. 300 extra calories in your diet is amazing, okay? So short answer, Nick, no, you do not have to get it up, but what I would suggest, and you're going to go for a walk with Nick Friend at some point in time, and that boy gets on his bike. He walks quick. It's more of a run than a walk, right? Because that's what he needs. Okay, let's look at a couple of questions that are coming from across the board. If I cannot do 10,000 steps because of my disability, can I do high intensity interval training to compensate? Emilio, yes, you can. Having said that, I think for most people, high intensity activity, not the best and first choice, nor is it the choice if you have a disability, unless, I can't think of a circumstance where that would be a better option. HIIT training, why is HIIT training good? It's probably two reasons. Number one, you can get the same amount of work and calories burned in a shorter time, right? It's high intensity, it's quick, it's demanding, right? So that's the first reason. The second reason why it's good is it really gets your heart rate up. So if your primary goal is to get your anaerobic fitness level higher and higher and higher, that's a different challenge to what most people are doing, Emilio. Most people are just trying to be more mobile as a busy parent, move their body. That's what we care about, right? So do you need to do high intensity? No, you could literally go on a bike if that's possible. You could go on a rower, an elliptical. Any type of cardio is good cardio, I think, as a complement to your resistance training. Michael, how are you, mate? I love seeing you in here, Mike. You got to start getting in here more, bro. It's really, really to try to do this thing on your own, right? Boys in the group, right? I want you to say hi to Michael. right? Michael's been here for a while with us. He needs to get his ass into this group more often. G'day, Mikey. Zereb says, hello, is detoxing your body a good idea? Depending on why you're detoxing. If you're drinking a lot of alcohol, then detoxing doesn't involve like lemon and salt water. It just basically means stop drinking so much alcohol. Do you need to like go and do a detox? No. Your liver does a pretty good job of that. Your kidneys do a pretty good job of that. You don't need these stupid teas and this sort of stuff. This whole detoxing thing is just a catch cry to general population people who don't know any better. Hey, let me sell you a detox kit. Dude, just stop drinking so much alcohol. That's the way to think about it. Or stop eating so much shit. Does your body need a detox from a perspective of processed foods? Absolutely it does. But the answer to detoxing is like eating good food. It's not taking some supplements or anything like that. Does that make sense? Nadine says, it is Christmas, coming to Christmas. What is a healthy way to eat a Christmas dinner? Oh, this is a good question. Now, I want to ask the crew inside Better Body Academy. I've been thinking of trying to fit in a workshop regarding this. So let me know if you would like me to do this. If you would like me to do like a 40, 50-minute workshop inside a Better Body Academy, I am happy to do it to guide you through the Christmas and New Year season. Answering Nadine publicly, what is the best way to eat at Christmas dinner? Okay, it's very simple. We want to prioritize our protein first, okay? It doesn't matter if you have some indulgence. It doesn't matter if you have a couple of beers and a couple of wine. Firstly, you want to prioritize your protein. That's the thing that's going to fill you up. When you get it the other way around, when you fill up on all the, for example, at my mum's house, and I'm not knocking my mum, I'm just telling you, she puts out the Smarties and the lollies on the table first and kind of like the carbs first. The problem is that you eat all of that stuff, you don't get full, and then you've got no room for the protein on top, which is the actual thing that you probably need the most to fill you up and reduce your overall calories, okay? So I would say when it comes to Christmas dinner, number one, eat the protein first. Number two, I would take into account some calorie banking, okay? If you don't know what calorie banking is, what this simply means is that you should, Tez is saying, smash the high protein seafood first. Bang on. If you've got seafood, fresh seafood, I know it's a bit weird for people in North America. They have, their turkeys and kind of rations like that. For us in Australia, it's all about the seafood and it's cold. You know what pisses me off, Tez? I'm just going to tell you personally, mate. Even my family over here, Cordia's family, the seafood's all hot. Why is the seafood hot? I hate hot seafood. Give us the fresh crabs and the fresh prawns on ice because it's freezing cold. That's why, right? But the seafood, perfect, right? It is just all protein. As long as you're not frying it and doing that crap, you're good. In terms of the calorie banking, here's what you want to do, right? Rather than just destroying the day and doing these cheat days, don't call them cheat days. Instead, just bank for the calories. In other words, let's say that your maintenance calories is 2,500 calories and you're in a maintenance at the moment. Well, allow yourself 1,500 calories for dinner by fasting in the morning. Okay, that's a great way to do it. Fast in the morning, or if you're having a big dinner, have a high protein breakfast, fast lunch, and knock back 1,500 calories at nighttime. Okay, probably number three, talked about get your protein in, get your calorie banking on. The third thing that I would want you to think about is don't turn Christmas and holidays into a 12-day bender. That's where people gain weight. If you just do 2 or 3 days, maybe Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Eve as an example, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have beers. I'm going to have some great food, some ice cream, some all the food that I can eat. But then everything's normal the next day. Like, why do we think that December is any different to January? Like, we get to January and we have this emergency wave of panic that we've got to get back on track. When actually, if you just stay on track and just have 2 or 3 days in there where you go a little bit wild, that's cool. No problems at all. No problems at all. Okay. Hopefully that answers the majority of questions. How to manage the urge of eating sugar and fat for 10 years? Whew, this is a good question. Who feels that? Who's a little bit of a sugar addict and they know it? I definitely think it's a challenge for a lot of people. What I say is that you know what? I think you're craving sweetness, not sugar. And there is a difference. For example, right before this, I had this protein bar because I was craving sweetness. This protein bar has 20 grams of protein and 3 grams of sugar, which is nothing. Total calories for this protein bar is 190. Now, I was craving sugar. I was craving sweetness. But what I did, instead of having sugar, I had sweetness. So I think the best thing to do is, rather than trying to manage your chocolate, I'll just eat a little bit of chocolate, come up with a substitute. To me, that is the smartest way to do it. So rather than eat the Snickers, you eat a protein bar. Both taste like chocolate. One's got double the calories of the other. The other thing, I really do think, I'm a huge believer in using diet sodas. Massive believer in using diet sodas. The research is very clear. If you drink diet soda instead of just water, I'm not saying don't drink water. I'm saying drink water and diet soda. It helps you to manage your sugar cravings. So when I'm going through a cut, what I do is I fill up on water all day, I have coffee, teas, and then when I feel like, wow, yeah, I could really eat something, instead, I'll just drink a Diet Coke. And it takes it away completely. For me, this is literally this is like a superpower. Okay, we're going to come over to Michelle Louise says, with Christmas parties every week and most not having good options, I've noticed bad habits sneaking back in. Yep, pretty normal. And how can I stop? How should I eat? Should I eat at home and not go so tempted? So this is a really interesting question. And Michelle, I really do think that I love that you asked this question. And what I'd also like is, if you're listening on in and you're in the girls group, why don't you comment with a little bit of what you're doing, how you would approach this? Because I think it's great for me to say it, but what would you say to Michelle? I mean, for me, Michelle, like, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I'm just at a point where I like how I look and feel when I feel good, far more than what I like feel when I eat a bunch of crap. Like, I think you reach a tipping point, and it might feel like this is a ways off for some people, but I think you reach a tipping point where you just get to a point where you're just like, this just makes me feel shit. When I don't go to the gym, I just feel crap. When I don't sleep, I just feel crap. When I eat that takeaway, I just feel crap. I went through this myself, Michelle, when I was drinking lots. And I got to a point where I'm like, I sat there just thinking to myself, why am I continuing to do something that I don't want to do, but I keep doing it? Like, why am I doing this? You know, when you wake up, how many of us wake up and we're like, never drinking again, never drinking again, never drinking again. And then by that afternoon, we're sucking on a wine again. like, you know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, you get to a point where you're like, this is doing my progress far worse damage than I actually want. This is not, I don't know, like, fuck, man, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. And that might be a silly way to view it, but I really do think when we're talking about, like, Michelle, have you reached the point where you like who you're becoming? Have you reached the point where you like the fact that you're very engaged in our community? Do you like the fact that you are very accountable? Do you like the fact that it's 6 o'clock and you're listening to a Q&A about fitness, as opposed to fucking stupid morning TV that's absolute garbage? You are doing this for you. So your next step is not to eliminate all crap food. That's not the goal. It is to go, well, do I really want to do this? And I think the best way to do this is to make a commitment before you walk in. If you make a commitment to not drink alcohol with your friends, let's pretend, if you make that commitment before you go in, great. If you try to make a commitment after you go in, it's next to impossible. That's just my personal feeling on it. So what do we got? So Deb says, my cravings have entirely gone. I'd rather have a protein bar and a Diet Coke. I mean, it sounds a bit wanky, Deb, like, because the vast majority of people are not like that, and that's not a criticism. They're just not there yet, right? That's exactly how I feel. Like why I don't want to have that. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example, right? So my sister-in-law, who I absolutely love, wants to take my daughter out for before we leave. Wants to take my daughter out for dumplings on the weekend, right? And she's like, "Do you want to come as well, Jace?" And I'm like, "I want to come because of the family stuff, but I don't want to come because I just don't want to eat like that shit. It's just crap, cheap meat that I don't want to eat. It's like low quality crap, fatty meat in a dumpling in a carbohydrate case. Like that's just not what I eat." Sounds like, I don't know if that sounds petty, and I apologize if it does, but you will get to a point where, like Deb, you just like. Kate says, "I didn't think of that." Yeah, cool. Yeah, Michelle says, "I like the way I'm feeling. I need to keep reminding myself of that." Exactly. Michelle, can I suggest that maybe having some sort of a reflection practice, and I don't mean like sitting on the side of a mountain in prayer position. I don't mean that, but maybe just like writing some things down, right? Writing some things down where you say, "Hey, like I like this." Like reinforce the identity that you're creating. Like this is so freaking important. Reinforce the identity that you're creating. Vic says, "I'm with Deb. I'd have my protein snacks before going out, and then I'd choose a couple of best options." Exactly. Yep, that's the way to do it. Guys, if you have any questions and you're watching on live, you pop them in the comments and I will answer them and do my best to answer them, okay? What else have we got? Just making sure that we are across it. Oh, have we frozen here? Nope. Okay, chocolate is my kryptonite. Yeah. Swap it over to protein bars, dude. Oi, listen. Can I give you guys a tip? Because you won't know it on Instagram unless you've downloaded my little guide thing. If you want a like almost guilt-free chocolate scenario, do this, okay? Take a half a tub of cottage cheese, lowest fat cottage cheese you can get, half a tub, put it in a blender with a couple of scoops of cacao powder, some sugar-free maple syrup, and some vanilla. Blend it, put it in the fridge. It turns into the best chocolate mousse you have ever seen. I'll say it again. Half a tub of cottage cheese, a little bit of a couple of tablespoons of cacao powder, some vanilla extract, and some sugar-free maple syrup. It's literally 130 calories for like, boom, like this whopping tub, and it is so freaking good. Like so freaking good. Guys, questions? What do you guys want to know? Hello, brother. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Okay. Hattie who? How are you? I'm 13. Wow. I want to build muscle. Any tips? Yeah, very, very simple. You need to get your form right. When you're 13 years old, unfortunately, your body responds way more than when you're 43, right? So what you need to do is you need to get your form right? You need to practice the movement. That's all I would care about. What got me decently good at lifting weights is because when I was 10 years old, my dad signed me up to a gym membership at a local leagues club and got me just the local personal trainer just to show me one session. And then I went and did it on machines. And I did it for like years and years and years and just practiced because I loved it. And what I realized I was playing footy at the same time and it was stopping me from getting injured. It was amazing. Everyone was getting injured. I wasn't getting injured. And so when you're 13, you don't care about lifting as heavy as you can. You just got to focus on the form. Get your form right, brother, and watch what happens, okay? Make sure that you've got someone there to catch your form. I'm walking for the first time at 6 a.m. in over 10 years. Get into it, Belle. How good is that? Let's go. Guys, if you've got any questions, you can bang them through to the comments and I will answer them. So I'm going to pull a couple from our client sheet this week. I've been hitting my calories, but my weight has not moved for 10 days. Should I drop them or stay patient? Isn't that a big question? Very, very common question. I'll say it again. I've been hitting my calories, but my weight hasn't moved for 10 days. Should I drop them or should I stay patient? I think we all want quick results. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it as well. If I could be rich overnight versus rich in 20 years, I'll take overnight. Totally get it. That's totally normal, okay? But at the same account, you do have to be patient. what a lot of people will do is they will just, here is the fate. Okay. It's not working. Well, because it's got to take time to work. So they drop their calories instantly. They drop their calories, and what ends up happening? Yes, they get a little bit of weight loss. Then their body catches up, goes back into plateau. They drop the calories again. They drop the calories again. And eventually they're at 1,200 calories, and there's really just nowhere to drop. So what ends up happening is they get frustrated and they say, you know what? Like, I can't eat 1,200 calories a day. So then the calories surge, and then they gain weight, and then they get fat. And then they say, this is no good. I've got to drop calories again. This is called yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo dieting is when you go up and down, but what ends up happening is each time you binge back, you put on just a little bit more weight than you lost. You put on just a little bit more weight than you lost, a little bit more weight than you lost, and it becomes this game that's completely unwinnable. So you kind of got to break that. You really got to try hard to break that, guys. Marty says, 57. How long should I expect it to take before I see my strength increasing? Good question, Marty. The long story short is you should be seeing that already. Okay. Now, why might you not be seeing increases in your strength? Well, you've been in a calorie deficit for a fairly long period of time, Marty. So typically, if you were decently strong before and then you go into a sustained calorie deficit, it can be a little bit depleting on your strength. Okay. It might also be that your sleep isn't great. There could be a few reasons, but realistically, for you, brother, if you have been practicing the skill over and over and over again, and you've got good form, you should be improving your strength over time. Now, how do you know that you're getting stronger? Like, that's a good question. People might just be like, look, because I actually think that in this case, it might be more a matter of you're looking potentially at the wrong thing, Marty. What I mean by this is you might be thinking my strength's not improving. But then I ask you, okay, where did you start? And you said, well, I started squatting the bar. Okay, what are you doing now? I'm doing a plate either side. Dude, did you realize that that's your strength improving? It might sound very dumb, but a lot of people don't realize this. The second thing is you might have started with a plate either side or a half plate either side, squatting. But at the start, you could do 8 and now you could do 10. Your strength has increased significantly because you're doing the same strength, same weight, but more repetitions. It might be that you were out of breath and puffed initially, but now you're actually able to get through a whole session. Your strength, your ability, and your capacity is improving. The one thing that I would want to say, Marty, is this. I would suggest, and this goes for every single person listening in Better Body Academy. Team, listen up. And I know you guys won't do it, right? Do it. You have to film yourself in the gym. I know you feel like a twat. I know you feel like a dum-dum. I know you feel like a wanker, all those things, or you might just be flat out embarrassed. I get it. But if you film yourself doing an exercise in the gym, myself and the coaches can give you feedback. If you don't do this, for all I know, Marty, you could be saying, oh yeah, I'm squatting with perfect form, but you're doing a bench press and you don't even know it. I mean, that's a stupid example, but if we can see the execution of the movements. Now, a great example of this is Ron Hilario, right? Ron in our men's group, he just put up video after video after video. Jace, same thing in the US, put up video after video after video. And guess what? We was able to give him form, give him tips, give him advice, correct this a little bit, correct that a little bit. And guess what happens? He got stronger. Because as I was saying to my friend here, 13-year-old legend, if you don't build your strength upon a good execution of skill, upon good form, right, you're just not going to develop very quickly because there are fundamentally some problems in the movement. Think of it almost like, I'm guessing as a Kiwi, you're into cricket, right? Imagine someone had a really shitty bowling style, right? And they were like, why can't I get quicker? Why is this not working? Right. If the form is out, you will not be able to continue to improve. OJ's a writer, right? OJ's a writer. if the dynamics of how he performs that ride are out, he's not going to go quick. Nick Friend and Terry run. If the dynamics on how they run and how their foot hits the pavement, they're not going to get to the times that they want to get to. This is a skill. Lifting weights, brother, is a skill. Yeah, did that last week and had brilliant feedback. So keep doing it, man. Like, be willing to be a bit embarrassed and be willing, because if you do that over and over again, Tim McIntyre is another example, just constantly posting on the group. And he gets feedback every single time by the more experienced guys and the coaches. Now, ladies, you're a bloody different story. Girls, why are you not posting your workouts? Is it because you're embarrassed? What is it? You don't know how to film them, maybe? You're not doing them? Sticking to machines? You're sticking to the treadmill? Why are you not filming your workouts? You don't have to film the whole thing. You just stick it on a wall as close as you can. Don't need to be perfect. Just try to get in the habit of doing it so that we can help you. If we can't help you, we can't help you. All right, so let's have a little bit of a look at the last few questions. What's the best way to deal with late night snacking? Oh, yeah, that's when I come undone every single time. Okay, so what do I do here? I late night snack every night. That's what I do. I late night snack every night. I don't avoid it. I just make sure that the snacks that I'm having are good. The cottage cheese high protein mousse that I gave you before, I'm eating one of those every single night. It's 130 calories. You can sit down and have some air popped popcorn. It's bugger all. You could have a big ass bowl of jelly with some Halo Top ice cream and it'd be 200 calories. And so you've budgeted for that 200 calories and therefore you can have that every single night. Dieting is not about eliminating everything, team. It's not. It's just not. It's about how do I fit in some of the foods that I like, make up maybe 10 to 20%, and the other 80% is just whole food, easy to eat, easy to digest, stuff that makes me feel good, right? So think of it as a whole, not just why do I keep snacking at nighttime? It might be that you're depriving yourself too much through the day and then you're getting to the nighttime and you're starving. That could be the problem. It depends on the individual circumstances. But my suggestion would be, rather than trying to avoid everything, try to work out how you can budget to have something at nighttime. I love a late night snack. It's not the late night snack that's the problem. It's the late night snack plus a couple of beers plus the occasional wine, plus we get to the weekends and we blow ourselves out. And it's the accumulation of the whole week. How important is protein timing? Does it actually matter when I eat it during the day? Good question. All the research suggests that protein timing is pretty much irrelevant, okay? So if you have a way to keep the calories the same between two different diets, let's say a person ate protein all in the morning or all at night or all in the middle, but the calories were the same, it wouldn't make a difference. That's in a lab. The problem is our life doesn't happen in a lab. Our life happens in a real world where we have emotions and temptation and tiredness and kids, right? So for this reason, if you eat all of your protein late at night, the chances are you're probably going to be really, really, really hungry all day. So your overall calories is going to be very high because you haven't got full. So you are better to spread your protein across the course of a day. And if anything, push protein to the start of the day, because what that will do is provide a longer lasting satiating effect. You will not feel as hungry. Anyone who's had 3 eggs or some scrambled eggs on some toast versus a couple of pieces of peanut butter toast and a coffee, they understand that there's a satiating effect of that stops you from overeating always at the next meals. Does that make sense? Probably time for one more question, guys. If there's anyone that wants to ask, I'm going to go with our final question on the pre-register. if I'm sore all the time, is this a sign I'm training well or a sign that I'm overdoing it? This is a really, really good question. And you know what? If I'm honest, right now, of the last 2 months since I've stepped up my personal training, I am sore all the time. Like I'm doing those old grown, old men noises that they do. "Ugh." I feel like I'm sore all the time. Why am I sore all the time? Because I'm in a phase of my training where I am pushing really hard. I'm tracking everything. And where I might normally give up on that set, because I'm tracking everything, I'm going, no, I've got another 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 here, or I'm up the weight. I'm progressively overloading. So what comes with that is a little bit of soreness. However, it might be a sign that you're overdoing it. If, for example, you said, I'm sore all the time and I'm training 4 to 5 days a week, then I'd say you're probably overdoing it. Probably, but it depends on how long your sessions are and how hard you're pushing it. If you're sore all the time, it could be an indication that maybe you're just stressed and not sleeping a lot, and that's hindering your recovery. Maybe you're totally dehydrated. Maybe you're just not eating enough calories or you're not eating enough protein, and so your body's struggling to repair after you've done the work in the gym of breaking it down. So, you know, most good personal trainers or coaches, if they answer with the answer, it depends. It depends. If they answer with that more often than not, that's probably a good sign of a good personal trainer or a good coach, because it depends. It's contextual. So you kind of got to, at the start, you have to rely on guidance from your coach. But as you start to get deeper into your transformation journey, what will happen is you will start to become internally regulated. In other words, you'll start to get to know your body and what it feels like when things are good and what it feels like when things are bad, and you'll be able to adjust a little bit. Does anyone listening, particularly in our client group, do any of you feel like you're at that point where you can kind of, when to back off a little bit now, or that you can go a little bit harder now? And it's because you've started to understand how your body works when you're treating it good, when you're treating it bad. This is where things like Whoops and other wearables can be a good idea, because they'll give you some insight into how you're sleeping and how things are feeling. If you're tracking your nutrition, I think that's a really, really good way to get an understanding of, like, am I totally deplete in what I need? But when you sort of get 2 or 3 years into this, you start to become a little bit more able to kind of what we'd call auto-regulate. This is the reason why, hey, Belinda, good morning, hun. This is the reason why we, in our elite program, we've recently brought in, if you're part of that, you know that we've recently brought in biofeedback. What we're doing is kind of asking you a little bit more about subjectively, how do you feel? How do you feel? What we're trying to do is prompt you to pay attention to things like your energy levels and your sex drive, your libido, your overall hunger. How is your body responding? The fullness. Are you sore or not? Again, at the start of your journey, you're just going to be blind to those things because you're not necessarily body conscious. But when you become a little bit more aware of how you feel, that's when things become really fun, because you realize that, hey, it's not just go harder or go home. It's like there's dials to this, and you start to become a little bit better at actually doing that yourself. Okay, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Hopefully this episode of Q&A was helpful. Good morning, Kobe and Joe. Late to the party. We're about to leave, but that's all fun. Guys, if you need anything, feel free to shoot me a message and I'll do my best to help out in whatever way possible. Guys, I'll see you on the flip. Don't forget, guys, if you are in Better Body Academy, we'll have a little bit more details later on. The 15-day Fitness Sprint is going to be starting tomorrow. Like I said at the top of the podcast, this is not going to be hectic. Okay, this is not going to be like crazy, so freaking hard. It's going to be more an opt-in participation challenge for you to do 15 days at minimum, where you show up for yourself, You create momentum coming into the Christmas period. You get that beautiful time between Christmas and New Year's to enjoy with your family, loved ones, doing whatever you want to do, but you don't get out of momentum. Hopefully this is helpful, guys. Peace out. I'll see you soon. See you guys. Peace.